to the survivors, to the organizers of this march. First of all, thank you all for your presence. To all the rest of you in the room, Shalom. In Judaism, it is a mitzvah, it is a commandment to guard the deceased, to accompany their soul and ensure that they receive a proper burial. The more than 1 million souls who were brutally murdered by the Nazis at Auschwitz never received a proper burial. There was no shomer, there was no watchman to watch over their body. There was no rabbi to say Kaddish, the mourner's prayer, and no family to sit Shiva, the week of mourning. Yet every one of those victims was an individual. They were mothers, they were fathers, sons, daughters, babies, rabbis, lay leaders, regular people. They were all individuals. But it was the German Nazis' greatest fantasy was to strip them of their humanity and to reduce them to just being a number, to erase their stories, and to consign their memories to oblivion. 81 years later, we may not be able to achieve that mitzvah, that commandment of ensuring the victims receive a proper burial. The Nazis made certain of that when they tried to destroy the camps, the evidence of mass graves, and their crematoria. Still, there is a commandment we can fulfill. Another way to achieve a small measure of justice for those victims of the Holocaust and for those who perished. From generation to generation, memory has always been the key to the soul of the Jewish people. Now, too, we remember the 6 million souls. We remember the word by Zachor. We remember. The Bible commands us to remember. We remember the exile. We remember going out of Egypt. We remember the Sabbath. And yes, today, tomorrow, and every day, we remember the 6 million souls who perished during the Holocaust. By gathering here today to honor the victims we remember, we ensure that the stories of the survivors are told and the stories of those who perished are told, and their memories will not be forgotten. We affirm victims, but each one an individual, real people with real lives and real stories. We refuse to grant the perpetrators a posthumous victory. We absolutely refuse to forget who these people were. Yet even today, we stand, as we will tomorrow, on the hallowed ground. People deny the Holocaust. They distort its facts and diminish its significance. And some even say that it was justified. To those who deny the truth, we answer every one of those baseless claims with a simple question. Do you call all the members of the Allied forces who liberated the camps liars? Do you call the survivors liars? And do you call Elie Wiesel and the authors of numerous books liars? In the face of hatred and unimaginable adversity, what makes you in this room unique is that you celebrate your Jewish identity openly and proudly. That is what it means, Zachor, remember. We remember, and we remember with pride. That is why we're here. On the eve of Passover, on a Friday night in Lebanon, Moshe Yitzchak Katz fell protecting the Jewish nation. He knew what it means to remember. He was a young soldier in the IDF who came from America and who loved his people and his country. His Judaism was a source of pride. He fell in Lebanon on the eve of Passover, protecting the Jewish nation. There was another young soldier who was called up that week on Monday, married a year, and every week he made a custom of bringing his wife flowers. Before he left on Monday, he went to a store and ordered flowers on Friday. The flowers arrived on Friday with a knock on the door. An hour later, his wife answered a second knock, this time to hear news that no one wishes ever to hear. Like these brave heroes, we honor the legacy of those 6 million Jews here by preserving their dignity, by never surrendering to hate, and by, for all of you in this room, being unapologetically Jewish. That is what it means to remember. When Hitler fantasized about Judenrein, a Jewish free world, he made no distinctions about sex, policies, politics, or beliefs. If you were Jewish, he hated you. So tonight we have to say the same thing. Neither will we make distinctions about who we are as a Jewish nation. We are one. Together as one people, we will bear the memory of these 6 million Jews. We will carry forward their stories by living the lives that they could not. Being here today, all of us in this room, from law enforcement to the survivors to the youth, this is how we prove the Nazis wrong. This is how we prove that we as a nation are unbowed and we are well aware of our heritage. Every mitzvah that you do, every good deed and act of kindness that you do, one day at a time, this is how we will claim victory. That will be their legacy, and that's what we will do in their honor. I was privileged for many, many years to walk to synagogue every Saturday morning with Nobel Professor Laureate Elie Wiesel. It is amazing to me that he would share the stories of what he went through during the war. But he was the voice of moral courage. A man who did not have parents in his teen years to teach him. But yet it was he who taught the world that respecting one another, is the key for humanity. Today, 81 years later, we also are fighting an axis of evil. And in 1933, when Hitler and the propaganda machine spoke, there were no voices to go on, and they let him go on unopposed. I pledge to all of you here tonight, in my role as ambassador to combat global anti-Semitism, and behalf of our administration, the President, the Secretary of State, our team, our administration, no anti-Semitism anywhere, any place, or by anyone will go unopposed. But as you march tomorrow, all of you, as you walk those steps, realize you're the future of the Jewish nation to make sure that the legacy of 1 million people in that area, in Auschwitz, who were killed simply because they were Jewish, it is incumbent upon each and every single one of us to redouble our efforts to show the world that we will live, we will learn from the past to protect the living of the future. And we will do so unashamedly, without any fear, with pride and dignity. Thank you.